boost economic growth. We will keep doing more to continue this trend. Friends, as India celebrates 75 years of independence in the form of Amrit Mahotsav, we invite everyone to visit the India Pavilion and capitalize on the opportunities in the resurgent New India. Let us make the world a much better place to live with. सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास and सबका प्रयास.
Ambrosia. Just when he's going to he picks up a palm to drink so that he could become immortal. Just when he's going to actually sip that, a crow that is sitting there says, "Hey Alexander, stop. Just listen to my story before you decide to sip that ambrosia." He said, "I also, like you, wanted to be immortal, and therefore I sipped this ambrosia, and now I have been here for tens of thousands of years. I want to change myself. I want to transform myself, yet I'm stuck because I have gained immortality. I'm not able to, participate in this process of creative destruction." Hearing that crow's story, the apocryphal story goes that Alexander decided not to drink that ambrosia, comes back, despite having made so much efforts to have reached there, comes back because he wants to also transform. He doesn't want to be stuck in the same state of being immortal. In a similar sense, the freedom of exit is an aspect that the IBC provides. And I think that is an important freedom that was not available to the promoters earlier.
पंचवर्षाणि दशवर्षाणि तारयत् प्राप्ते तु षोडशे वर्षे पुत्रं मित्रवत् आचरेत्. Let me translate it, if a translation is necessary. Nurture a son for the first 5 years. Strike and punish him for the next 10 years. When he attains the age of 16 years, treat him like a friend. Why have I chosen this? I hope the allusion is sufficiently clear. Infant mortality rates in India are high, and so are under 5 mortality rates. But over time, both have declined. IBBI has survived the status of being an infant and has also survived the status of being an under 5 child. It has been nurtured sufficiently for the first 5 years. The time has also arrived to strike and punish it within reason. Birth is entry, death is exit. Medical treatment does its best to facilitate birth and postpone death. But eventually, death is inevitable. That is how life and evolution proceeds. It's a useful metaphor to remember even in the context of government policy and capital market efficiencies. All of us use the term reforms, and we mean different things by reforms, depending on the prism or the lens that we are using. But whichever definition, whichever prism we use, reforms are about efficiency and competition.
Different cultures, languages, cuisines, forms of art, music and dance. This diversity is reflected in our pavilion. Similarly, India is a powerhouse of talent. Our country is making many advances in the world of technology, research and innovation. Our economic growth is powered by a combination of legacy, industries and startups. India's pavilion will showcase the best of India across these multiple areas. It will also showcase investment opportunities in multiple sectors like health, textiles, infrastructure, services, and more.
In making this very, very important legislation a reality, certainly there will be many, many chairpersons who will come after him, but he will always be the first chairperson of IBBI. You know, when Sunil Gavaskar hit those runs to become the first player to score 10,000 runs in Test match history, which was actually considered the equivalent of Mount Everest, he said, "I'm sure there will be many after me who will actually score 10,000 runs, but I will be remembered as the first person to do so." So for IBBI, Dr. Sahu is our Sunil Gavaskar. Now that 5 years have passed in the IBC, there is of course debate about the outcomes that have come. And I think that is legitimate, it should happen. What I want to share with you is a perspective, certainly not the perspective. This perspective that I want to offer you is one based on the political economy of reform. In any democracy, when you think about reform, there's always this tussle between two sets of stakeholders. One, that is a vocal minority versus a silent majority. The vocal minority is typically one that has benefited from the status quo. Because it has benefited from the status quo, typically is far more vocal, knows how to access the corridors of power to have its voice heard. And that is why it is a vocal minority. On the other side of this tussle is a silent majority. The reason that this majority oftentimes stays silent is that they oftentimes don't even know the benefits that are going to come to them from the reform. It's only when those benefits actually transpire do they say, "Oh wow, I didn't realize that these benefits actually were going to come." Take the 1991 reforms as an example. I'm sure many of you will remember. I was back then in college. I used to read the Economic Times. We used to have a reading room in IIT Kanpur where I used to read them, and I actually remember this tussle then as well.
See your academia, there is opportunity to discover, opportunity to partner, opportunity to progress. Come to India and explore these opportunities. India also offers you maximum growth. Growth in scale, growth in ambition, growth in results. Come to India and be a part of our growth story.